Hello, everyone. Scribbler Johnny checking in before we continue Char. Char considered what Shizuka had said. I don't think so. Killing my wife would be wrong. He dismissed Shizuka. Straining his mana reserves, he summoned Marigold. Marigold, you were wise. No, I'm not, she interrupted. I'm short-sighted, amoral, and far too in love with my Magus. He paused. Well, anyway, I don't have enough mana to summon someone wiser, so you'll have to do. The Toxicatus licked her chops with her impossibly long tongue. Live to serve you, she said. This is my new wife, Albert. Her wings are ruined. How marvelous, Marigold admired. Char waited patiently. She gestured for him to proceed. I have learned I have many wives at a place called Leanie's Mill. Maybe not for long. You've been a cave dweller for a long time in Vienna terms. He frowned. Sorry, Magus. I'll do that thing you like. She wagged her tongue suggestively. Please, maybe later. Now, listen. What do I do? Do? Magus, I kill at your command. I love at your command. In all things you command, I obey. Might as well ask me what I want, she said, smiling mischievously. What do you want? To do that thing you like? You really are not the simple creature you are pretending to be, are you? Marigold sighed. No, Magus, but you used to find it endearing. You liked it when I was a sex pot hungry for you constantly, she said accusingly. The Toxicatus sat, spreading her gaunt, long legs and dispelling the magical darkness that hid her nakedness. Do you want to take the Mugu to your house? Or do you want to live with her in your cave and continue to give me and the girls all the loving we've been missing, having to share you with your wives? Will my wives be angry? Oh, yes, the fat one especially. She'll likely kick you in your tender victuals with all 12 stone of her weight into it. Does she weigh that much? Does it matter? What should I do? Magus, I told you. You command, I obey. Tell me to kill all of your wives and your husband too, and they will choke to death in their sleep on smoke I blow into their lungs. Tell me to destroy your house and it will corrode to rubble. Tell me to do that thing you like, and she raised her bony eyebrows suggestively. Char asked Marigold to do that thing he liked. She smiled and crawled in beside Albert and fell asleep. He's ready, I think, Sister Sasha. Remember, the next summoner in the family line is mine, too. Then Marigold slid down into the shadows, still smiling sweetly. Char found himself dreaming of a campfire in the woods and a wagon. A Mataka with green scales and red pants walked over, shirtless. Hello, Char. I know you. You're my dead wife. Sasha, I miss you. I'm not dead, and according to the rules, I'm not your wife. Or Satrasha either. Char frowned. Explain. I am the goddess Sasha who opens the way, called Sister Sasha by those who love me. I love you. No, you love your wives. You mean we really don't mean anything to each other anymore? Sasha looked down. Do you and Bufavulus mean anything to each other? No. You can pledge to me and take me for your goddess, but I cannot be your wife. Char looked at the wagon. How he remembered the nights in that wagon. He remembered everything. I've been very selfish again, haven't I? Your spouses think so. They miss you. Char stood. He looked at the wagon. He had so many cherished memories of that wagon. And what about Albert? What about her? What will I do? Telling her the truth is a good start. After that, she'll decide what she wants. Can't you just tell me what to do? No, Chips. Free will is an unbreakable law of our cosmos. Gods, gods make rules they want their worshippers to obey, but the choices always belong to mortals. I advise you to tell Albert that you are not forsaken and that you have a big family across the sea. I think that's for the best. I'm glad you agree. Will I see you again? How often do you see Ishtar? He frowned. Never, I think. You see her in every light in the dark places. You'll see me in every twinkling star, every door or gate that opens. Smash a boundary and I'll be there. Love your family and all the gods are there. It's a brave new world, Chips, full of love and pain, challenges and folk eager to face them, as it always was. As it was, so shall it be, huh? Yes, except that everything is also constantly changing. Welcome back to life. And then Sasha walked away into the stars above, her tail swinging. Char woke with Albert in his arms. He watched her sleep until she woke. Good day, husband Char, she said and yawned. He carried her to the millennium tree and then returned for his basket. Char watered the tree and scooped out the remaining ash to the soil where grass was already sprouting again. And there he told his wife everything. The life he had left behind, the family he had abandoned, his former name. You know, both names are similar, she observed. Oh? He asked. Chips break away from something. Char is what is burned. Chips considered this. Very clever. Now that this is done, I forgive you if you don't want me for your husband anymore. Albert sighed. You were all that I have in the world. Why would I leave you? Because I won't force you to rely on me. I'll take you to my hometown and help you make your own life. You don't want two husbands, do you? And also four wives to share you? Maybe. Well, we have lots of children. You met three of them, and my nieces. I could get used to children. Okay. But the truth is that my spouses have to approve of you before you can be my real wife, because you'll be all of ours. Albert squinted as the day grew painfully bright for the subterranean woman. We'll worry about that when we get there. How will we cross that giant lake? Chips somehow never noticed the sea. Oh, I'll be damned. I don't know. Marina helped, of course. By this time, Carla and Darlene were pregnant. Men and women from Komori were only too glad to help build them a house and a dock by the seaside, and Asher was only too glad to pay them generously. Their fledgling port was named Komori Dani. The local priestesses were all trained midwives, so Carla and Darlene were in good hands. The people of Komori were glad to see their gals come home, and glad Asher would raise their children there as well. 100 sons, said the villagers in blessing. Their house was really an inn, and their dock was a great place to fish, So Komoridani became a little community of its own by the time they began the family business in earnest. The new Minka-sized house was also now complete, and not only did 8 and the Minka Mont Blancs move into it, so did Heffy and Napa. Gale and his wives took over the room that had once belonged to Sasha's clutch, and all was well with that arrangement. Kumak found herself praying again. Mugus usually weren't keen to the gods, but she wanted her husband back, Kupo. Edda cries and yells all the time and never wants to make love, and that only makes her more irritable. You know how she is. And Charcy yells right back at her, and Felice and me try to keep the peace, and G just sits there wishing he could get drunk. You took my wife, so please give my husband back. We miss him. We all do, she prayed to any god who was listening. 7, in fact, did not just want to get drunk. He was furious that Chips had abandoned them, but mostly he was mad at how much his absence hurt their wives. And he was angry at his inability to comfort his wives. They needed that mammalian warmth, and his cold-blooded love just wasn't enough. Not for the first time. Grimhorda VII wished he were someone else. Irini did start drinking less wine, and her love for her Minka sisters returned to its former warmth. Still, she didn't get any miracle baby, so she was seriously considering the growth potion. Kumar, for his part, didn't seem to want another wife. That was until he met Helga van Daan. And why am I introducing new characters late in the story? Life doesn't happen in 3 acts, that's why. Helga was a Drovierna. She had been driven to the surface by earthquakes and terrified by the rain. But she found some friendly Buka who were trying to save nomads from the raising of the sea, and they led her to Sentry Rock, where she met Roland, who had her accompany a shipment back to Leanie's mill, and thence to the family. Helga was a bricklayer by trade, shorter than most surface Vierna, like most Drovierna. She was also black-skinned, purple-eyed, and her hair was steel gray. Her labor-intensive work made her well-muscled and confident. Kumar met her quite by chance. Helga's protective tinted goggles hung from her neck inside the storehouse that and Kumar had been checking inventory inside that same storehouse just to have something to do. Their eyes met, and it was as if they had been dreaming of each other. They hadn't, of course. I would have told you that. Kumar strode over to the first adult Vierna under 5 feet 10 inches tall that he had ever seen. Hello, mistress. I'm Kumar Ravenholm. Welcome to the Glorious Eggs Trading Company, he said in Vierna law. I was hired by Parnor and Roland. He told me to speak to Mistress Edda, Helga said haltingly. You have the most beautiful hair, she added, stunned. I'm Helga van Daan. I'm from below. Can I stay here and continue working for your company? This land is so lovely. Kumar waited to see if she was finished. She was. Helga, come and meet Edda. We'll have tea and sandwiches and discuss things. Helga replaced her goggles and followed Kumar to the manor house. Masha had gone with Fortunatus to Sentry Rock, so Kumak greeted them when Kumar announced their arrival. And Kumak smiled. Welcome home, Cuckoo. And then, Kupo, she exclaimed in shock. Is she a Drovierna? Helga smiled. Yes, greetings from my clan to your house. Helga Van Don, and I am at your service. Kumak hopped in excitement. You are very welcome as our guest, Helga. Please, stay for Summerfeast under our roof, Kumak said, beckoning them in. I enter as a guest, Helga announced, gesturing with her fingers forked against the evil eye. Your skin is lovely, Helga. Black as obsidian. Thank you. Uh, your wing slips are adorable. Kumak led them to the table and put the kettle on. Sorry, we just have some sausage and tomato sandwiches. Etta loves the tomatoes from our garden so much. The pork sausages and tomatoes were completely new to Helga, who had gotten used to bread by now, finally. And don't forget, Kumar, you promised Fran, Kumak added in Vienna law. You speak our language well, Helga said. I've been married to Vienna for almost 20 years. I practiced. Helga was shocked. In my homeland, Mugus and Vienna never intermarry. In fact, Vienna don't intermarry with anyone. It's taboo because of the betrayal from the father of all Vienna. Kumar and Kumak both stared at her. They had never heard anyone call the former god of light and darkness by that name, though it was the truth, according to old records, now hidden and controversial, found by Asher and Rainier on their journey to the grasslands. Do you mean Soul? Speak not his name! Helga interrupted Kumar. Kumar took her hand, attempting to calm their guest, but this only agitated Helga further, and she stepped away from him. You proposition me at the meal? What kind of savage are you, Kumar? Kumar made the gestures for peace. Helga, you misunderstand me. Please, accept my apologies. I did not intend what you think. Helga sat back down. Please explain. My household is very free with touch. I had intended to calm and reassure you, not proposition you. I understand now, Helga said, calming. Fear not the blood god. My father and my mamma killed him. My mother was at home taking care of business. How many wives does your father have? I have 2 husbands and 3 wives, Kumak answered. Why not 4? Helga asked. Their downcast expressions answered her. I understand. Say no more. You must still be grieving. Helga awkwardly reached out to squeeze Kumar's hand. He nodded his thanks. My husband Chips is human. My husband Grimhorda VII is Mataka. And my wives Edda, Felice, and Charsi are Vierna. Satrasha was Mataka as well. Wow, very intermarried, Helga observed. But no Vierna father? I thought the mother of all Vierna decreed that non-Vierna will only father, well, no Vierna sons. Helga stumbled over her words in her shock. The goddess changed her mind, I guess, Kumar explained. He then went on to detail their massive family tree. Helga nodded. What was your promise to Fran? Will you marry her? The Drovierna asked. No, she's going to cut my hair. She's a beautician, Kumar replied. Why not marry your mother's sword sister's daughter? It's as natural as fungus spreading where it's warm. That's what my parents did. Kumar shook his head. Fran isn't for me. She'll be a good wife for somebody, but not me. The tea and the sandwiches were all gone by the time Etta arrived for lunch. I'm home and I'm hungry, Etta called out as she made her way to the dining room. Oh, hello, she added. Kumak dashed to make some more, apologizing furiously. Helga stared. Kumar noticed and felt a sinking feeling. You are the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Look at you. How do you only have one child? Helga exclaimed. Miss Edda, you're so sturdy. No wonder you're the materfamilias. Helga said in awe, and Edda smiled. Well, yes, I am the head of the household. Thank you. You are? Helga introduced herself. You'll have to forgive us. Many from the surface think that your people are a myth, Edda said, sitting down. Which reminds me, the Devil's Eye Caverns must be under the sea now. How will you return home? Kumak asked. Helga shrugged. I may never go home. I was raised during a war, and honestly, I'm sick of the war. If I try to return, the mother will make away. Edda kept her doubts on that subject to herself. Well, you're welcome here as our guest, Helga. What is your profession? Edda asked, changing the subject away from her opinion about the mother and whether she would help you blow your nose. Well, I'm a bricklayer. I make and bake my own bricks. Edda nodded encouragingly. I came up because of the earthquakes, but also to escape the war. I like building, not clearing rubble that was once someone's house. How do you fire your bricks? Edda asked. My magic, Helga replied. Kumar raised his hand. You have magic to make bricks? Well, fire magic for the oven, she added, as if explaining the obvious. Yes, and what does the fire burn? The air? And it burns hot enough, long enough to bake your bricks? Edda interjected. Helga nodded. We have so much to discuss, my dear friend. Fran came home then. She saw the steel gray-haired, black-skinned Vierna at the table and gasped. Fran looked at Helga, rather, looked at Fran's flowing black hair and her white-furred ears and also gasped. What happened to you? Helga asked. It hadn't occurred to them to explain that almost all surface Vienna had white hair. Fran recovered and sat down beside Kumak. You're the real thing. Black as ebony, polished and gleaming with beauty. I could turn you into a living work of art, Fran said in a hushed voice. Like a painting on black velvet. I'm Helga Van Don. What's your name? Oh, I apologize. Fran Brighthand at your services. Helga agreed to stay at their house for the Summerfeast festivities, though she had no idea what was entailed in that holiday. The remaining Mont Blancs at the house were Kumak, Edda, Seven, Charcy, Felice, Fran, and now Helga. Kumar was happily living with the Floorflams. Kumar wanted to have his new hairstyle before Summerfeast. And Fran persuaded Helga to let Fran work on her just to see if she liked it. And so the both of them were at Fran's shop on the same day. First, Fran combed out Kumar's thick twin braids, and as she worked, she remarked for Helga's benefit, Our brown-haired boys have never cut their hair, just growing and growing like a storybook. I don't know whose idea it was, Edda, Kumar interrupted, but they all have manes like cuckoos. Shall we sell it to rope braiders or to the wig makers? Fran teased. Gardeners, Kumar joked. Fran cut her cousin's hair in a daring fashion. A singular long lock in the back, though still cut shorter than it had been, the front trimmed completely, and behind his ears a short sort of sunburst radiating out and creating an effect rather like a nimbus or a corona around his face. It kept his hair out of the way for archery, made him look stylish and unique. He liked it and told Fran so. Okay, 5 gold, right? 3. Fran, you're crazy. Take the 5. He handed her the coins, which she accepted. Okay, now, since this is something completely new, there's no charge for you, Helga, Fran said, sweeping up the hair. I'd like to cut and style your hair too, she added. Helga nodded, and then Irini came in. Well, hello, handsome stranger. I'm a married Mugu, so I can't run away with you, she said. So you like it? Kumar asked. Of course I do. Makes you look quite handsome. And this was Irini and Helga's first meeting. After the introductions were made, Irini said, Well, I can see why he likes you. Kumar had told no one about his attraction. Helga was flummoxed. Who likes me? My husband, you silly thing. You remind him of his mother. But you're also different and exotic at the same time. Irini clambered into a chair. Mistress Brighthand, your Mugu accommodations leave much to be desired, she complained, fixing her dress. Kumar was surprised too. What do you mean reminds me of my mother? He demanded. Same build, same direct manner of speaking. You've said 5 words to her, Irini. I asked around, dear. I know everyone. Do try to keep up. Helga stood. Kumar, why didn't you tell me? I didn't want to complicate things for you. A whole world to learn about and all that. I'll decide what's too much for me. We don't need to get married. We can just have fun together. Love should be shared like a gift. There's different loves, you know that, Helga said. And then she began listing the various Vierna law words for love. The love between close friends, the romantic love that endures, the love that only lasts for 6 days, the love of friends who occasionally banish loneliness in each other's arms and return to their old ways, the love that lingers after separation, the love of family. Fran watched this with interest, and Kumar looked at Irini. I'm not going to stop you, silly boy, she said. He looked at Helga again. I like you. I was attracted to you immediately. I want to find out if there's love in your heart for me, he said, feeling foolish. I like you, Kumar. I was attracted to you, too. We have your wife's approval. Let's find out what's in store. Let Fran work her magic now, Kumar suggested. And when Fran was finished, Helga's hair was resembling a flower arrangement, and her face and décolletage were adorned with pastel butterflies and lilacs. Against her shining black skin, the effect was striking. Helga gasped when she saw the finished product in the mirror. Like you said, living art. I must pay you, she said. Just tell the people that you had it done here, Fran said. Helga pressed a carved quartz disc into Fran's hand. I insist. Fran was so taken by the unusual currency, for its size more than her uncertainty as to what it was made of, and she gave no further protest. She kept the quartz coin in a display case with certain other foreign currencies. The display brought in more business. Helga found a decision she needed to make. Spend Summerfeast with the Montblancs, who had invited her, or with the Floorflams, who had not, but would still welcome her? She decided it was best to go where she had been formally invited. So the family spent Summerfeast dispersed. Chips and Albert arrived at Century Rock just in time to crash the Summerfeast party held there. Fortunatus was just standing to read a prepared prayer over the feast, and then Nappa shouted, "Papa!" Masha covered her mouth and stifled a shout. "Dark night, we thought you were dead," Parnor swore. Char knelt and touched his forehead to the floor. "My beloved family, I have behaved horribly. I beg your forgiveness and ask for a place at your table for me and Albert." The still thin and scraggly Mugu waved. "Albert the Deep Mugu," Heffy called out, and Fortunatus looked over his relatives. He was not in a forgiving mood. But it was Summerfeast, and it was not his place. So Masha said, "Rise, Chips. You and your companion have a place at our table. I, at least, forgive you." And something broke inside Hephzibah, and she rushed to where Chips was slowly standing in a flutter of fabric and picked him up by his throat. "You abandoned us, you swine!" she yelled. Albert casted a spell that drained Heffy's strength, and she was forced to lower Chips to the ground, suddenly panting from exertion. Albert scowled. "Shall I kill the Mataka, husband?" "No," Chips gasped. "This is my daughter, my family." Nappa sighed. "Oh, Papa. Albert the necromancer?" he asked. Albert dismissed her curse, and Heffy's great strength slowly returned. Chips embraced his daughter. "I'm so sorry, my heart and my egg," he said in his poor Matakala. "You left us and hurt us deeply by hiding from us. Why didn't you love us enough to stay?" she replied in the common tongue. "I lost my mind. I changed my name. I met Albert. She's been good to me." And he explained to Albert what had been going on. "She doesn't speak common?" asked Fortunatus. "There are humans below," explained Nappa. Heffy glared at Albert. "Spared your life once, necromancer. Are we even now?" she asked. "No, Hephzibah. I only stopped you from killing my husband. Our accounts are not yet settled." Heffy nodded. "Gunpowder and lots of it." Albert nodded. Hephzibah apologized for making a scene and fetched stools from another room. "Sorry. Take my chair, Papa," she said. Chip shook his head and sat beside Albert on the stools at the end of the table near where Roland sat. "By the dark, your poor wings, girl," Parnor whispered in pity. "It doesn't hurt any more," she whispered. Fortunatus nodded gruffly. "It is the time to reflect on our love for each other and our gratitude. Chips is alive. As the patriarch, do you wish to speak the prayer?" Chips stood. "No, Fortune. I have been derelict in my duties. Please proceed." He resumed his seat on the stool. Fortunatus nodded and cleared his throat, reading from the paper. "Our family has much to be thankful for. We are embarking on exciting new enterprises, and for once I'm important in this family of heroes." He chuckled. "May we hold together in our losses, and not forget each other in our gains. May we continue to strive for that glorious future to hatch from the eggs of our labors. A new age brighter than anything I can imagine. So be it." "So be it," the others added, and then they feasted. Starving Chips and Albert feasted to make up for lost meals, hardly tasting the food. After the feast, it was time to consign worries to the wind and to recall gratitude. Everyone looked at Chips expectantly, except for Albert, who was holding his hand and looking at him in adoration. Chips cleared his throat and spoke. I'm worried that I will go unforgiven and be forced out of our family. I'm grateful that things are changing for better and that we are prosperous enough for a feast so grand. He turned to Albert. Nice speech, husband, she said after he translated for her. Now you speak one worry and two gratitudes, he replied. Albert looked around. I worry that I'll never fly again. I'm grateful for my husband, and I'm grateful for my husband. Oh, I'm grateful for all of this good food. And then she looked at her lap. Take Parnor's hand, Chips urged. She did. And Parnor smiled patiently at Albert. I worry that our new prosperity is not done being touched by sorrow. I'm grateful that my old commander is still alive, and I'm grateful that I don't have to watch anyone die today. He nodded at Roland and sat down to take Heffy's hand. I'm worried that some new horror is looming, waiting for us to get complacent. I'm grateful I didn't kill my father, and I'm grateful to Albert for stopping me. She took Nappa's hand. Nappa looked at each face in the circle. I'm worried I'll never fall in love. I'm grateful our family has so many mundane things to busy themselves with instead of heroics. I'm grateful that for now at least, I am done with such things. He took Masha's hand. I'm worried that with all this distance between our residences, we will also have distance in our hearts. I'm grateful that my husband is so industrious and that my daughter is just as enterprising as he. She took her husband's hand. I worry that resentment and pain may cloud the gratitude of our relatives. I'm grateful to welcome Albert to the family, and I'm grateful that my ship is doing well. He took Chips's hand, completing the circle. Roland backed away and left them to their devices. He found he had nothing to say. And Fortunatus spoke again. I forgive you, brother, looking deep into Chips's eyes. They had been speaking Mugula for Albert's benefit. Having heard this, Albert told her story. When she finished, Hephzibah said, So, in a way, by not coming to collect sooner, we're partly to blame for your mutilation. Albert shrugged. I prefer to say the people to blame are the ones who mutilated me, she said. If you lead us back to your village, will they take you back? Nappa asked. I don't care. I don't want to go back there, Albert replied. Yes, but not only must we restore your good name, we must get that gunpowder and sell it, Heffy said. Albert nodded numbly. And I must guide you. Can it wait until after I follow my husband to Leanie's mill? I want to lay my eyes upon this Mugu kingdom before his wives reject me. Why would they reject you? Masha asked. One, I'm a cripple. Two, I'm too skinny from my deprivations. Three, I'm ugly. Four, I'm a necromancer. Five, I'm a living reminder of how he tried to start a new life without them. Albert continued on her fingers. You're not ugly. Your fur is very nice, Masha said, pointing to the mottled spots in Albert's fur. Bless you for the lie, but I know the truth. Masha looked over at Chips for help. We're both ugly. It's part of why we're a good match, he said. Were? Oh, Char. Char, you don't love me anymore, Albert wailed. He held her in his arms. What could he say? It was the truth. Now that he was Chips again, he had no real love in his heart for Albert. To Char, they were the only people in the world. To Chips, Albert was someone who had been good to him. But now, he didn't know what to do with her. I promise to take care of you, he said. I don't want that, she cried. I loved you in a cave with nothing. Doesn't that mean anything now that you're a count? Albert, you have been good to me, truly. I will not forsake you. I'll give you a place to live, work, make you part of my household, he replied. Oh, very fine of you, your lordship. Treat your wife like a freeloader. You meant those words in the cave. I know. Why don't you mean them now? Why don't you caress my wings with that tender touch anymore? Albert, I'm sorry. Please understand, I wasn't myself. A goddess restored my memory. I'm not Char. I'm Chips Ravenholm. So we don't need to worry about your wives rejecting me, because you already have. The family watched this in awkward silence. I'm sorry. I promise I will not abandon you. Come with me and see Cassandra. Meet the rest of my family, Chip said, and then he apologized to those present for the display, and also for needing to borrow money for transport back to Elgoth and Leanie's Mill. Elbereth and Leanie's Mill. Fortunatus smiled. No trouble, it's Summerfeast. And so Chips and Albert shared a room, and Albert tried to make Chips love her again. It wasn't hard. Old Chips is a fool for a woman who says the words I love you. And so, moving along, we find Gail, Anna, and Beverly visiting Grenda and Miranda for Summerfeast. Mont Blanc has a small house in the capital, so that's where they had gathered, with a picnic from a local restaurant spread on the table. As the eldest, Anna gave the prayer. We ask the gods to remember us fondly today as we show our thanks and refresh our dedication for the rest of the year's labors. We are bound by blood and love, we who are gathered here, and may we never lose that bond. So be it. The affirmation was repeated by the others. The feast was entirely comfort foods to remind Grenda of home. With her veil hiding her face completely, she sighed happily at the sight of some of her favorite foods. They also had strawberry wine from the Silk Road merchants. Gale proposed a toast. To Grenda, dear sister and source of pride. To Anna, dear wife and adviser. To Beverly, dear wife and confidant. Cheers! May joy find you always. They gladly took up the toast, and drank and ate with relish and thankful hearts. With the feast finished, they adjourned to the sitting room to sit in the traditional circle. This time Grenda began. I worry that I'm neglecting my other family in Marissa, though I write them often. I'm thankful for my relatives to share my days, and I'm thankful to be a Cassandran, where I can marry whomever I choose and receive a fine education as well. She took Beverly's hand, and Beverly took a deep breath. I worry that I don't do enough for our household. I'm thankful for my spouses who love me so well, and I am thankful for peace. She took Anna's hand. Anna said, I'm worried that I'm too bossy. I'm thankful that my spouses came back from the Pearl Pit safely and that we'll be able to make that outpost like Gale wanted. She took Gale's hand, and he took Grenda's other hand to close the circle. I'm worried that I'll let everyone down with some scheme that I failed to think through fully. I'm thankful to be here with three of the smartest and most beautiful women in all Levantus, and I am grateful that they consider me worthy of their love. With the circle complete and the worries given to the wind and the gratitude shared, they basked for a time before releasing it. Some of us have been talking, Grenda said, about the winery, and we thought it would be grand to plant a vineyard in the foothills north of Sentry Rock. It's lush land and unclaimed. We can make a claim on it and then make it a Cassandran territory. Would you want to be part of such a venture, Grenda? Anna asked. Yes, I'd get to travel, help the family, and be near to our family too, since Masha and Fortunatus now live in Sentry Rock. And I heard Eight say that he wanted to go there too, so that means Deborah and Lindo. And Maggie, Rainier, and Anme are all over in Hebimura. They're bound to visit from time to time. We could all go, and we can make it happen. Gail thought about it. I do have an idea for a new kind of wine press, he mused. It would be worth it to try, right? He looked to Beverly. I'm a country girl. I support the idea, she declared. And Anna said, it's worth it to try. We could always fall back on growing herbs used in Edda's medicines and such. So they all put their hands in, smiles all around. It was a good idea, really. In Hebimura, Anme, Maggie, and Rainier gathered in Laurie's home. They hadn't finished furnishing the new office yet. Okay, Laurie said, I now call this silly heathen ritual to order. Alrauna, look upon us favorably. Goddess of my mother and guide of my better nature, we are grateful for the bounty that we have received, and we show this by gorging ourselves. Love us and guide us to prosperity. So be it, the others replied in kind, even Bruce, who was wearing a shirt for the occasion. The spread was a blend of the familiar and the exotic, and even Anme did not complain about the food this time. Laurie gave Maggie a look. Magda, if you please, I'd like a story of your travels while we feast. So, Magda talked about meeting with Melpomene and shapeshifting into a seal and learning about the women who'd become immortal handmaidens to the Queen of the Sea. She talked about swimming faster than any mortal seal and returning to their ship. Laurie applauded. A fine tale, well told. Rainier, if you please. Rainier thought hard. He didn't have any exciting tale that could match with Maggie's, so he talked about the cult. They called themselves the husbandmen, he began, and he talked about Anme escaping them to bring the constables and his family to rescue him, though he had helped to destroy their abominable and blasphemous flesh statue of the Mother of Alvierna. He described being drugged and how they had tried to indoctrinate him to their warped religion and lifestyle. You mean to say they... with the statue? Laurie asked. Rainier and Anme both nodded. How revolting! Not exactly pleasant dinner conversation, but thank you for sharing a story about our brave May. Annie, a short yarn to spinny spin for our meal? Anme talked about their wedding festivities. The meal finished before her tale, but no one complained. And at the end, Laurie applauded. Splendid. Wish I'd have been. Now, let us to the circle of cushions so we can have done, he announced. They sat, except for Bruce, who knelt behind Laurie and waited silently. In answer to your unspoken question, Calabarth disdains such open displays as this, so our Calabarthy friend will not participate. Calabarth the Wise is an odd god. Do you think that Queen Satrasha had anything to do with that rule against open displays? Asked Maggie. The others shrugged. Bruce, however, spoke. The Queen of Ice made Calabarth wise and happy, but she also left him wary of emotions. The triangle between them and Mother River was most unpredictable. So Calabarth decided that passion is to be avoided in his people, though lately I have found my stoic control to be faltering. Ah, that's the Queen of Ice influencing her children and her sister's children both, Maggie said. Be that as it may, Maggie, please begin, Laurie said. So Maggie spoke. I worry I may not settle down in time to get a good man. I'm grateful to be here with good friends and my family. I'm grateful for the things I have been taught. She took Aunt May's hand. I worry that I can't have children. I'm grateful to be retired, and I'm thankful to be married to my Rainier. She took Rainier's hand. I'm worried that a terrible disaster will strike us. I'm grateful to be able to open a store here, and I'm thankful to have my wife and my cousin here to help me. He took Laurie's hand. I'm worried Bruce will fall in love with me. I'm thankful there are no Calabarthy whores, and I'm thankful for the orc whores who also know how to cook. He took Maggie's hand to close the circle, and then he burst out laughing. Calabarthy whores! Can you imagine? Once you go scaly, you'll come back daily. He giggled. Not so fast, please, love. I'm still unbuckling me belt. Annie did not think this was as funny as he did, and neither did Maggie. Maggie pulled her hand away from him. I'm sorry. It's just, I think that they would make absolutely the worst prostitutes, Laurie said, and then wiped his chin. Aunt May smiled politely, but she did not like the circle of gratitude being treated to bawdy humor, especially at the expense of sex workers and Calabarthy. She bid Laurie good evening and led her family to return to their rooms at the hotel. I want to make a new circle of gratitude, she said, sitting on her bed. Maggie and Rain gratefully joined her, and as they held hands, meditating on what they were thankful for. Laurie can be unpleasant when he wants to. Makes me wonder why he agreed to host our gathering in the first place, Rainier said. So he could mock our tradition, of course. He thinks all religions are jokes, especially his own, Anne answered. But Summerfeast isn't tied to one god. It's something we all do, Maggie said. All of us in the West, Anne corrected. They released each other, and then Maggie left to her room to go read. Laurie's a good friend otherwise, honest and loyal, Anne said. I trust your judgment, Rain said. His ears drooped. Laurie's an ass, though. Yes, yes, he is. And Maggie thought of Shannon. What must he think of me, she thought aloud. Nothing good, she assumed. After all, she hadn't written or said a word after running away from him. She left the continent, even. Days and days at sea. 2 more days to cross the green. Now Summerfeast in a foreign land. She hoped other half-orcs had better manners than Laurie pretended to have. She realized she was holding a book in her hand, but she hadn't been reading for some time. So she put a ribbon into a page and looked at the cover. Quiet Knoll by Rory Fletchcrafter. That had to be a pseudonym. She reread the introduction. It was a romance about two human mercenaries in the clan tournaments, but the author was obviously a Vienna woman. Something about the prose made her think of Vienna love songs, and it was clearly a monogamous love. She couldn't shake the image of a retired fighting clan merc writing about her fantasies from her younger days. But why use a male pseudonym? Was writing novels somehow shameful for Vienna women? Did Vienna men write much? And what about men in love with other men? Did that appeal to Vienna? Was it some sort of breeding taboo? Despite growing up among Vienna, Maggie really didn't know as much about their culture as she thought she should. She resumed reading. Vaughn watched as his clan brother Sitis Ka whirled, his tail and claws sweeping their opponents away. But there was a human soldier wearing a blue beret who stood his ground and countered the whirlwind attack with a sweeping swing of his sword, severing part of Sitis's mighty tail. "The name is Pablo! Never forget it!" the soldier shouted. Sitis fell, roaring in pain and anger, and Vaughn answered in kind. Pablo would pay. Vaughn's arrow flew and struck true. One for Sitis Ka, another arrow, a palatable strike. One for Vaughn, and then Pablo was down, and Vaughn shouted. A wordless animal shout. And then Vaughn was upon the soldier. Friend mangler, wound mocker. Vaughn held his bow over Pablo's throat, and the judge blew his whistle. "Roughing a downed opponent, yellow card," called out the Vocho mounted judge. Desra, their Calabarthi mend mage, was holding Sitis's tail in place, and sparkling healing magic was doing its work. Vaughn remembered himself and backed away from the downed Pablo, who was quite unconscious, maybe even dying. Without knowing why, Vaughn kissed him full on the mouth, the kiss of death. The red card was worth it. Pablo's blood on his lips tasted like cranberries. Maggie gagged. Why did Anmei own this tripe? And why had Maggie borrowed it? Hadn't she met a Mitaka named Sitis Ka once? It was an unusual name, to say the least. And in Komoridani, things had gotten quiet. Carla and Darlene were not yet visibly pregnant, but both them and the midwives were quite certain of it. Asher had arranged a signal to them that he would send a songbird to the shrine when labor began. He knew he wasn't ready to assist in childbirths. Calving and lambing didn't count as far as he was concerned. He had even been present for a foaling once, but he just knew it was different for people. He had sent an order to the Home Office for things wanting in Komori, and Sepulchernum, and Komoridani, and just the previous day he had sent that request. Their shop would do fine, he was confident. An hourglass made of kudzu grew from his desk. "Coming, my loves," he called out. Their feast was humble. Corn cakes with blueberry jam, a bean soup that Carla had made that she called "what we got soup," and tea with chunks of soft peach floating. "The food in the Summerlands must be like this," Asher said. "If not, I won't go." Carla laughed at this, and Darlene smiled. They both looked at their husband. "Mother above us," he prayed, "thank you for the good in our lives. Help us be strong for the bad, and may we always be grateful." "So be it," they said together. and they ate with grateful hearts. After gulping the remaining tea, they formed the circle, and Darlene spoke first. I worry that Papa Chips won't come home. I'm thankful to be near our hometown and our special pond. I'm thankful that my best friend is my wife. She took Asher's hand. He frowned and thought. Had to change mine, sorry, he said. Okay, I worry that Mama Etta will kill my father before my mother can stop her. I'm grateful that my wives are also my friends. And I'm thankful that I got to achieve my boyhood dream. I plan to have more dreams come true. And with you two, it's all very likely. How blessed I am to have you. It had never occurred to him that first love was doomed in long stories and love songs. This was real life, and he was happy. He took Carla's hand, and she smiled. I'm worried that I somehow can't have sons. I'm thankful that we're helping Komori. I'm also thankful that Asher can keep us both satisfied. She giggled at the end and took Darlene's outstretched hand. Could life get better? Asher was honestly afraid to ask. Next month, he would have his full ceremony as a fledged druid. He did not want to spoil his wonderful life. Carla tossed her hair out of her eyes and said, It won't be an easy life here on the outskirts, but I know we'll make it, and our children will be healthy and well loved. Darlene released just to throw her arms around her sword sister. The Flurflams mostly were on holiday in Matongo for Summerfeast, leaving Irini, Kumar, Ate, Lindo, Deborah, and Stoledra to their own devices. The Summerfeast ritual was not practiced by the Minka, but they were happy to share in the quaint growing closer with their relatives. As eldest, Irini gave the prayer. We worked hard to earn everything we have, and we took risks, so we'd better be thankful. Thanks for not getting in our way, gods. Kupo. Couldn't really say so be it to that, so instead they said Kupo, and commenced the feasting. Deborah, Lindo, and Ledra's table manners had greatly improved. At the circle, which they formed right there at the table, Irini took the lead again. Dear relations, I'm so very glad we're together. I worry that I'll need to drink a growth potion and that it will hurt if I am to bear Kumar's children. I'm thankful that the guardian angels are making money. I expect we'll be profitable by next equinox. I'm also grateful to Deborah for loving me enough to tell me the truth, and to Ledra and Lindo for not letting my arrogance ruin things. She took Kumar's hand. He kissed her furry hand before he spoke. I worry that even becoming a watchman will leave me unfulfilled and restless. I'm thankful for my family's love. I'm thankful that they value me. He reached for Stoledra, who met his reach with a grin. I worry that I'll never see my sapphire dragoon again. I'm thankful for gainful employment. I'm thankful that I will become an auntie. She took Eight's hand. What's your dragoon's name? He asked. He is a human named Paul. He just became a knight-errant, she explained. Well, he's Cassandran, so you're bound to meet again. You're going to be famous, Lindo reasoned. Ledra smiled and bowed. Grimhorda took a breath. I worry that I somehow can't father children. It should have happened by now. I'm grateful to my wives, and I'm grateful to be a chronicler. He took Deborah's hand. I'm not worried about my egg. Husband makes me feel so good I just know I'll get pregnant. Wah! I said something embarrassing.